They, because she went out with some friends. What are the things?
All split into two different parcels.
Yeah, well, yes, which is what I want,
Okay,
but they're only assigning one tax ID
well,
number
they only want to do one.
to the whole unit when there's gonna be two individual owners. I just don't see how that works. How do you build that even from a tax perspective?
You can't,
That's what I thought.
so.
I know.
I asked Andy, I said, do they
You would
understand there'll be
ride like the
4
trail
owners,
trails?
not 2?
The-
And this is what I got back from, because the health
No,
department, because there's 2 wells,
Oh,
there's a
okay.
well for each
Right.
property. The
Good
health
luck.
department.
I feel like we just walked into the nerdiest tax conversation I've heard in a long time. Thanks for that, whoever that was.
I'm with you, Chris. It was very intriguing. I want to know the rest of the story.
Right? I was actually like working on something else, and I'm like, no, hang on.
I know, I know,
What's
right?
going on? And then Ryan cut us off. What is this?
Don't have a voice.
We don't. Ryan, we're gonna rebel. You need to take us off of mute.
All right, well, good morning, everyone. Welcome to the September 25th meeting of the CEDS committee, and we're going to get started with a roll call here. I see Alan Barr first.
Here.
All right, and I see Amy Berglund.
Good morning, everyone. Amy Berglund, Director of Business Initiatives with Invest UP.
Thank you. Amy Kratz.
Good morning, everyone. Amy Kratz, Talent Development Liaison for the State of Michigan Department of Labor and Economic Opportunity.
Thank you, Amy. Charlie Loper.
Good morning, everyone. It's Charlie Loper. I'm the Community Support Specialist for the Office of Rural Prosperity, and I'm located in the Ironwood area. So I cover much of the UP.
Great, thank you. Christopher Germain.
Hey, good morning, everyone. Christopher Germain, CEO, Lake Superior Community Partnership in Marquette, Michigan. Sorry, we're all Michigan. But coming at you from Lansing today, where I have a lovely view of the Sam's Club parking lot. So really
right.
great to be downstate. Love it.
Thank you. Next we have Dottie.
Good morning, Dottie LaJoy, Executive Director of QPAD.
Thank you, Dottie. And Emily. Yeah.
Oh, sometimes there's other Emily's. Trying to fix the volume. Emily is the community planner with QPAD.
Thank you. Joe Teal.
Good morning, everyone. Joe Teal from Innovate Marquette, coming from beautiful Marquette.
Glad to have you. Jordan.
Jordan Stankina, City Manager for Iron Mountain.
Thank you. Julie Carla.
Good morning, Julie Carla with the Michigan Department of Health and Human Services.
Thank you. Kathleen.
Hi, I'm Kathleen from the Superior Watershed Partnership.
Thank you. Lexi.
Good morning. Lexi with the Menominee Business Development Corporation, Economic Development Organization for Menominee County.
Great. Glad to have you. Lynn.
Good morning, it's Lynn Durant. I'm the supervisor in Marquette Township, and thanks, Christopher, for being so dedicated.
You know, I would never miss a chance to hang out with you, Lynn.
And Nate.
So Nate has no voice. He's asked me to speak on his behalf, which is a very dangerous precedent. So I would say His Royal Highness Nate Heffron of the city of Negaunee, the most excellent community by MML standards.
Thank you. Nikki Bash.
Good morning, Nikki Bash, Great Lakes Housing Services.
Thank you. And Chelsea.
Hi, good morning. Chelsea Wilkinson with Room at the Inn.
Good morning. Thank you. Stacy.
Hey, good morning. Stacy Hoy. I'm the UP Field Deputy for the DNR. And Nate, after seeing the news last night, congratulations. And yes, your voice sounded terrible. So hope you're feeling better soon.
Thank you. Trent.
Trent Bellinger, Director of Career and Technical Education for the Delta Schoolcraft Intermediate School District.
Thank you, Trent. And last but not least is Victoria, and then we'll do around the room updates.
Good morning, Victoria George with Schoolcraft Tourism and Commerce and EDC.
And
Thank
Ryan,
you.
I don't know if I should be feeling bad that you didn't ask me to introduce myself. Good morning, everyone. This is Ed Legault. I'm the Executive Director for the Delta County Economic Development Alliance.
And this was your chance to fly under the radar, man.
Yeah.
Did I miss anyone else? If not, we'll go around the room here, starting with Alex.
I'm Alex Kofsky with Excel RHP in Marquette County. Written with Fresh Systems in Marquette.
Deanna Johnson, Executive Director, Marquette County Habitat for Humanity.
Ann Giroux, Director of Development and Investment Services with Invest UP and Build UP.
Ryan Susi, Senior Planner with QPAD. Emily.
Good morning, David Nyberg, Executive Director for Business Engagement and Economic Development at Northern Michigan University.
All right, well, glad to have you all joining us. And we're going to launch into our first item here. It's My Neighborhood 3.0 updates. So I think Mishta had a hiccup here with their launch of the program. It was originally supposed to start October 1st. They pushed it back to October 6th, and I see now they've taken the My Neighborhood 3.0 policy update sheet off of the website. So I have some of the details here, and if you need a copy of their handout, I can email it to you. So just let me know if you need that. But we also have an expert in the room today. Andrew is offered to
That is not what I said. Just to be clear.
I'm not sure that's true, Anne. I feel like you probably said that.
Thanks for the backup, Christopher. So there's a few program changes from the previous two rounds. Most notably, their priority now is communities with no prior award. So Marquette has gotten awards, Escanaba has gotten awards, I think Menominee has gotten an award. So places like Munising and Manistee are going to have a very good chance if they can get applications in early and submitted with no problems. So I highly encourage those communities and any others who have not gotten an application in previous rounds to get one in. Like I said, the launch date got pushed back to October 6th, and it's going to be reviewed in 3 rounds over October through December. Round 1 is going to be reviewed in November. Round 2 is going to be reviewed in December, and round 3 will be reviewed in January. And there's going to be a final statewide pool of funds for funds that have not been committed. They'll put them all together and have a final round. The funding rules are now there's 1.5 million max per agency or project, and it's still 100,000 per new unit, and it's 45,000 per rehab unit. So those are the amounts that you can get. Let's see, capacity levels at the beginner level now it's up to 500,000 with no match. So I think previously it was 200,000, but now it's 500,000, no match. At the intermediate level, it's up to 1 million, and that's with a 1-to-1 match, and a 1-to-1 match of amounts over 500,000. So the first 500,000 does not have to be matched, and then any amount over that is matched. And that's the same rule with the advanced level. That's up to 1.5 million, and that's 1-to-1 match. So these levels are determined by the number of grants that you are awarded or the number of projects you've engaged in. So at the beginner level, it's 0 to 2 grants. At the intermediate level, it's 3 to 4 grants, and at the advanced level, it's 5 or more grants. Another thing is only local units of government and nonprofits can apply for occupied rehabs. And I guess that is the basis of this program. There is a webinar happening on September 30th at 1:30. The link is on Mishta's My Neighborhood website. You don't have to sign up for it. It's just a link that you click, and hopefully they'll have some more answers then. And I encourage you to go to it if you're interested in applying for this program. And with that, Anne, did you want to
Yeah,
share
and
anything?
yeah, I want to reiterate, I will never claim to be an expert on anything. However, I am willing to muddle through this process with any developers in your communities that are interested. And I'm doing that with a couple of developers in the region. So, you know, even though the housing specialist regional component, Marquette County Housing Specialist regional component has come to an end, please know that I'm here as capacity support for the rest of the region. You're not in this alone, and if you're working with developers in your communities that need some guidance and assistance, I'm happy to help. And happy to make a trip in person to sit down and go through that application with them, and as well as Great Lakes Housing Services, which is an excellent resource as well. The three things that I would suggest if you're talking with developers who are thinking about this program, they really need to be ready to go at this point in time and not just dreaming of an idea that they have. They're going to have to prove at the time of application site control, proof of financing, and have some really good cost estimates because they're going to need to submit a pro forma. So they're going to have to have, you know, they talk about it needs to be shovel ready. It really does need to be a shovel ready site and not just an idea that they have. And the only other thing I was going to add is I'm anticipating a lot of people participating in that Q&A session. I have no idea how much time they allocated, but I know myself, I have a half a page of questions that I have in a Word document that I'm going to be ready to copy and paste into the chat to try to get those answered. So I would just suggest others kind of be ready and do the same.
Thank you. Does anyone have any questions for Anne? All right,
Actually, I do.
Go
if I
ahead,
may.
Lynn.
And I don't want to take the time up of the group just for me, but Anne, can Mitch apply for this if he's got a MISTA grant?
So he already, if you're talking about the Renovare wildflower project specifically, Lynn, I'm assuming that's what you're talking about because they
Yes.
already received an award through my neighborhood. My
Oh.
understanding would be that no, they would not.
Okay. I didn't know that. Yeah, I don't know the specifics of his funding. I was just reaching. Thank you.
Thank you.
This is Victoria. I have a
Yeah.
question too. Just
Go ahead.
and you had said that they need proof of ownership, and before there could be an agreement, you know, purchase agreement already in place. Is that
just evidence of site control? So that could be either by a deed or a purchase agreement. My understanding is that would be okay.
Okay, thanks.
I was also told in a previous Q&A with Mishta that you could apply if you had an open grant for a different project, but that you would have to spend that down before you could receive any funding on the new.
Thank you for that. All right, are there any other questions? If not, I'm gonna share Antonio, Adon, the housing specialist at Marquette County Land Bank offered office hours just ahead of the MISTA meeting, or I'm sorry, just after the MISTA meeting on September 30th. It's from 2:30 to 4:30. He's going to be at the Marquette County Courthouse, County Annex Building, room 41, if you know where that is. He's willing to also help talk through projects in the area. And so if you would like to do that, reach out to Antonio and let him know you're interested. And our next discussion is CEDS. We're identifying projects and priorities. So I developed this cute little graphic here to give you an idea of the types of projects CEDS funds are the types of projects EDA funds, and we're looking to identify projects and priorities in our CEDS. So thinking about projects around the region, what projects do you know of in your area that fall into these buckets, or what's that? They're clouds. Yeah. They're supposed to be thought bubbles.
Oh, okay.
They're definitely clouds, Ryan. They're cool though.
So what projects of regional significance are planned or under consideration in our region? And I'm thinking larger scale projects that or they could be, you know, dreams or concepts or anything like that. Christopher, you look like you got something on your mind.
No, I was drawing my Ohio State hat. But I always have lots of thoughts on this kind of stuff. You know, in particular, I'm sure that you're talking about outdoor recreation and already have those kind of efforts in mind in some of the projects that we'll have with the Leo Fellow, which I can talk about at the end if we want to. I totally lost my other train of thought. There was a big one in Marquette I wanted to bring up. Come back to me. It'll come back to me. Like,
can we talk about the potential closure of Eagle Mine? Is that something that could potentially happen within the next 5 years and needs to be identified in the CEDS?
yeah, that's a really good point. I mean, the current date is 2028 is what they're saying now. So, yeah.
And what I've heard is with the Boulder Dash property, if they do find ore, there's still gonna be a gap in time before the mine is up and running. And so I don't know if that means employees are furloughed, but I know accelerated fees funding is gonna be cut in 2028 as of now, and that's what they just keep reiterating is 2028, the CPE program, everything is, or middle college, I should say, is all gonna be cut as of now.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Do we know how many employees that covers? You know, if it was a total closure, I don't know, versus a partial.
A little over 300.
Yeah, I'd say yeah, it's 300-ish. Yeah.
I'm depressed.
That's really depressing.
Yeah.
All right. Are there any other projects from around the region that people are thinking about? Anything that needs infrastructure?
So Ryan, I know that I remembered the thing I couldn't think of. So obviously in Marquette County, area service has been a big issue for us, and I think it's elevated to a lot of partner counties that have EAS funding with some of the threats from the federal level about EAS funding. So one thing I would love to explore, I know there was some work done on it a little bit, I think when Invest UP had the transportation fellow or mobility fellow, but the idea of better connecting, right, our area service assets in the region, right, to make it easier for people to use for them to all thrive, I think is something we should look at.
Hey, Christopher. On the mobility fellow, he did prepare a final report. As far as he did cut his fellowship short, but he did get us a final report with some recommendations for that. So I can share that with you.
Cool. Yeah, I couldn't remember if he got that far or not, Amy. So thanks.
Yeah, he did.
Helpful.
He closed
So-
out the 3 projects that he was working on, and that was one of them. So I think it's a good foundation, a good starting point.
Cool. Yeah, I
I'll make
really
sure.
think, I know sometimes it's an issue that can divide us, but I really think there's avenues that can bring us together. And I think that's going to be a good foundation for that, some of those conversations.
Sure, I'll share that with you.
Ryan, this is Ed Legault. The Upper Peninsula State Fair Authority actually has been working with Representative Preston on some state budgeted monies to actually redo many of the buildings on the fairgrounds that are in repair. If that were to get approved, it would be a significant update to the fairgrounds. And I think, that might be something that we could utilize some, CEDS project help with. There are also 2 condo projects in Delta County. One you're probably familiar with, the North Shore Flats with Matt Sweeland by the old jail property. That seems to be having some traction. They had a meeting they've changed developers to change the price points, but they had a meeting with prospective buyers in the last week or so. And then there's another group that's looking to purchase property from the city of Escanaba. And one way or another, that should come to a head in the next week or so, because they put out an additional RFP on the property. And that would be like 25 or 30 condos within Escanaba. So anyway, a couple of projects that I think would be extremely impactful in Delta County.
Great, thanks for putting those on our radar, Ed. I think Jim McNeil also said something about an EDA project in 27 or 28 about along US 41.
Yes. And that is going to be they're looking to MoDOT is going to be redoing Lincoln Road. And at the same time, if the city had enough funding, if the city did their work they need to do with water at the same time, it would reduce the cost to the city for the project, because it's already being tore up and everything by MoDOT to fix the roads. It would reduce the cost of the project by about 50%. So I know they're looking to try to tie that together and get some funding so they could do it at the same time.
Great, thank you. And is there anything with the Amazon distribution center going on?
They are clearing the property like mad. My understanding is they're either very close or have signed the sale documents for the property. Jim McNeil had an appointment, so he couldn't meet at my board meeting yesterday, but I was kind of hoping I would get an update from him. But I know they've been going gangbusters on the property. clearing everything and all that. So I'm assuming everything is good moving forward. And then
Very-
if you didn't see it, not that, Quick Trip is almost completely built right now in Escanaba. They have their signage out, the buildings are up. They look like a quick trip at this time. And I know they've scheduled their ribbon cutting for like the 1st of November, the first week in November. So that's up and running.
That's exciting. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Dave Nyberg. Oh,
Thank
sorry.
you. Yeah, one thing I did want to mention, from Northern Michigan University standpoint, I may think of more, but this one sticks out as the CEDS project potentially. And as I read the question prompts, our strategic plan that was adopted by the Board of Trustees last year, our updated strategic plan, there's a pillar of that plan that is, well, it's called the Grand Challenge, is partnering with our place. And there are 4 strategies in that Grand Challenge. One of them is developing a arts and athletics district on campus and in Marquette. So it's an NMU project, but it's intended, I think, to be a project in collaboration with the community and also serving the Marquette community certainly, but also potentially the broader region. And NMU had received a $1 million gift from the Daniel and Pamela DeVos Foundation to put together a study as to the what the opportunity could look like for a comprehensive arts and athletics district. That gift is focused more specifically on art and cultural aspects of the district, and a feature component of this that that we're wondering about, and that is included in the campus master plan, is a performing arts center. So imagine if this study, which is going to be a comprehensive study on the viability of that type of project and the demand, what if we get to a point where we have all of the data and information to support a performing arts center project? What does that look like? That could be pretty exciting in terms of how we as a university activate supporters and donors to the university, as well as local, regional, and state and potentially federal resources to package together a really meaningful project. So that's something that's more on the horizon, and where we're at in that process right now. I mentioned the gift has been received. It's part of our strategic plan, but in terms of the study itself, the selection committee is still reviewing and selecting the consultant proposals. So it's very, very early days, but I think it would make sense to include that as part of the CEDS plan moving forward. And if folks here are interested to learn more about that or have questions, I can chat offline, and happy to connect you with our team that's leading that project.
Very good. Thank you. All right. Victoria, is there any projects that could be included from Schoolcraft County?
From Schoolcraft, that we are continuing to work on getting our industrial park, the empty properties full. So continuing to work with that. There we probably need phase 2's cleanup and some infrastructure to help market would always be nice. We do have some housing projects that are being looked at. I don't know, condos, 12 units, and then some other smaller ones, but not sure what we, with those, what can be done. That's all I can think of right now.
Good, thank you. And how about Menominee County? Lexi, do you have any projects that could potentially fit?
potentially. I do kind of feel like they're in some of the earlier stages that are not ready to move forward with this type of thing. There's some property out adjacent to the industrial park that has about 80 acres that there's been talks about how it could be great to help expand our industrial park, create some more options for some new businesses trying to come in, because that's been a major struggle down here is we have people who want to come, which is great, but we don't have anywhere to put them.
Yeah.
So we've been looking at that. There's still some early conversations on whether or not that one's to be saved for potential housing development too, but after some conversations with some folks, it seems as though industrial development would probably be the best for it moving forward. We have wetland study on it and some initial information on how much it would cost to get infrastructure to the doorstep. But that's just a potential project, but we still need to kind of identify what the community wants to do with that land.
Mm-hmm.
But that's one of them. And of course, there are a bunch of other smaller ones, but nothing that I feel like I should be sharing right now.
Okay, thank you for that. And I'd like to introduce both you and Victoria to Lee Shuri and run through what EDA can do, all of what they're able to do and stuff. So when I'll look forward to introduction to him.
Yeah,
that would be great. Thank you.
All right, and I don't think we have Kathy on the line. Kathy, are you here? Okay, I don't think she is. I was with the Munising City Planning Commission last night, and they expressed interest in some kind of technology training facility and partnering with potentially NMU on how they could do that, how they could get like a satellite, and so I don't know if that's something I can run up through you and maybe get a conversation started with the city, but they have an interest in that and a potential location for it.
Okay.
And I don't know if okay, so let's talk about priorities. What are the economic development priorities of our region and its communities? So EDA has its own set of priorities that are set by the federal administration, and they are critical infrastructure, workforce, innovation and entrepreneurship, economic recovery and resilience, and manufacturing. I'm sorry, I should back up here. Did anybody else have any other projects that they wanted to address? Amy or Joe or anyone?
Thanks, Ryan. I'm good right now. I got a lot of things I want to discuss, but I think that they're a little bit preliminary to tie to a lot of this stuff. But I'm just want a couple more cycles to go through on planning before I can get it to the group.
Okay, thanks, Joe.
Same here, Ryan. Thanks for the opportunity. I'm good.
Yep, no problem. All right, so EDA has these priorities, and we have an existing set of priorities from the previous version of the CEDS. I'm wondering if we're missing anything. In working with a few applicants, I saw a weak spot in our priorities, was that we didn't really talk about skilled trades. And so I would include something in here on that. But just wondering if there's anything else that we're missing or that needs to be
Ryan, it's Alan.
addressed. Yeah, go ahead, Alan.
You know, as a private business owner, when I look at this list, it makes total sense. And
And when I was economic development, it made all the sense in the world. But I'd like to see a little more focus on workforce development or workforce recruiting. Small businesses are having a heck of a time, and I imagine the larger ones as well, in finding people to work. Like, for example, I have a business that could literally basically double overnight if I could find people that were interested, willing to work. You know, we'd provide the training, all that. Anyway, workforce development's a big issue.
That's a very good point. Yes, yes.
I was gonna say something similar to Alan, but I'm looking at I don't know what bullets it is here on the slide, but the third bullet from the bottom. I wonder if you could make less of an emphasis on Industry 4.0 and focus more broadly on high demand, high wage career paths. And the contribution to that topic from my standpoint is I spend a lot of time working with manufacturers that have acute demand for specific skill sets that aren't necessarily skilled trades, or I wouldn't classify them as skilled trades. That they, depending on how you define it, could be. So as you, Ryan, mentioned, skilled trades as an addition or a complement. I wonder if we could refine that bullet to be more focused on just regional demand, workforce development, and talent development for regional demand. And the specific topic I'm thinking of is our engineering technology department has a really, really cool partnership with local manufacturers, particularly in the med device industry. And we're having some strategy together about how to grow pipeline for those high demand careers and how to keep the program relevant. And so there's some interesting things happening there. We also have a partnership working with a federal nonprofit that invests in these types of programs. So I think from NMU's standpoint, I'm probably leaving some things up. If you could more broadly define this as a priority, it would accomplish kind of the career technical education things that are going on that are great. Middle college, what Alan mentioned, your comment on skilled trades, and I would defer to the expert planners as to how this should be presented in terms of language for the CEDS. But that was just sometimes like those descriptors have specific meanings, and you don't want to exclude workforce-oriented initiatives because they don't fit into the federal definition of skilled trades or something like that.
Yeah, I got it. Thank you. All right. Does anyone else have any other additions? Oh, go ahead.
Hey, Ryan. So it's kind of alluded in here indirectly, but I feel like every economic development meeting I've gone to lately talks about energy infrastructure, energy capacity, and not even just tied to like the renewables or data centers, but just we need more energy infrastructure and more capacity. I was just at a site selector meeting down here in Lansing yesterday with MEDC, and that's literally all they talked about. And so it was like, I think we need more direct about it. Right.
Yep, I got that.
Yeah, I guess Ryan, yeah, that was funny. Christopher, I literally just typed that in the chat. I'm more of the focus on that renewable, but said energy and infrastructure and workforce development as it's related to that as well, and skilled trades.
Point. Thank you.
Similar to what Dave was saying too, I think, we mentioned outdoor recreation in terms of infrastructure and sustainable tourism, but there might be some ways to revisit that language coming out of the growth strategy.
Mm-hmm.
Stuff from that.
Right. Yep. Good point.
And specifically like those 3 overarching goals that were put together.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Great. Is there anything with water infrastructure? I'm thinking in Menominee or in Escanaba, Gladstone, Marquette, anything? No. Okay. Well, anything else?
I'd say support of organizations that are assistant entrepreneurs, both low tech and high tech, is a priority because one, we have the funding sunsetting with Accelerate EP, but also with the Central EP Small Business Support Hub has been a really successful program, and that sunsets it's September 2026. So it's been making a great impact, and it'd be a shame to just see it all go away.
Yeah, I would back that up. Thanks, Alex, for bringing that up. Like, we've been told by MEDC that we're amongst, I think, the top 5 performing hubs in the entire state, right? So we're out competing a lot of urban areas in terms of our impact. And so being able to at least keep a semblance of that somehow would be awesome.
Great. I'll include that. Thank you. All right. Does anybody have anything else? All right, if not, Christopher, I'd invite you to tell us a little bit more about the Community Growth Fellow.
Yeah, sure. So I think the news will be public today from Leo, but there was a group of us, a number of us are actually on the CEDS meeting who've met over the last month or so to try to grab a last minute opportunity from the Office or Labor and Economic Opportunity Department Community and Worker Transition Office, which is like the longest name for an office ever. But they have introduced a new program called the Community Growth Academy, which comes not only with technical assistance and cohort learning, but also a full-time fellow on the ground for 15 months. And so we learned late last week that we were awarded the fellow up here. So the proposed project that we've put in front of them is a combined collaboration between entities in Marquette County and Delta County to really try to leverage and understand the opportunities that the US 41 corridor and just overall synergies between our two counties offer to build on those. So we know those exist, but we'll now have a fellow who will actually be able to dive in and help build some of those partnerships, grow some of the existing programs that already exist. Like the Superior Trade Zone, as we look at changes there, as the pipeline for educational institutions and employer needs, and some of the work that NMU is doing there. And so we're really excited about that. If you're not part of that coalition, if you weren't part of those conversations, if that's of interest to you, we certainly have a lot of room left to expand the coalition. Joining that, there's no cost to doing that, but there is an expectation that you at least participate in the virtual academy sessions when you can. And we are asking folks, while the LLCP will be hosting the fellow, we're asking that we don't have to incur the full financial hit of hosting the fellow. So we are asking for a little bit of chipping in there, but I'm happy to share the proposal with anyone who's interested. Like I said, the news will be public today. The plan for hiring is we have a CEDM orientation next week, 2 weeks from now. CEDM is hosting the fellows just like they do for a lot of the other programs. With a goal of having a fellow in place and on the ground in January.
Great. I'm excited to find out the possibilities with that position.
Yeah, we're really excited too. So just a big thank you to everybody it was a really last minute. Like, we learned about it at META and then you have 2 weeks or whatever to pull this together to talk about it. So we got one in, which was awesome. So.
Yeah. Thank you for your leadership on that.
You guys. Yeah.
All right. Getting into grant opportunities. I already went over my neighborhood, but the next opportunity that's coming up is the MDARD Rural Development Fund grant that's available to rural communities, and projects in Marquette County get extra points on their application. The RFP is going to be open on October 15th. And there's an informational webinar on October 29th at 10 a.m. Eastern. I believe that grant funds up to $100,000. Businesses, local units of government, and organizations are all eligible entities for that. I think it's a 25% match. It has 30% match.
It's 30,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
Right.
What does that fund, Ryan? What kind of thing?
So that is, it funds land-based industries, has a focus on that, so.
It's maybe Ryan, I'm on the Rural Development Fund board, so I could take this off.
Oh,
your
yeah.
plate.
Thank you.
So, yeah, so it funds basically, we joke about how like USDA is everything under the sun, like rural development, sort of like the cousin of that, and that it can fund infrastructure, it can fund workforce development, really anything that is tied to, like Ryan said, like land-based industries, but we use a really broad version of that. So we typically see a lot of infrastructure projects, maybe one or two talent projects, and then definitely some business development projects. Like, for example, there was a farm we went to last time that grows all the seedlings for potatoes, right? And we helped expand their ability to do that. Up here, though, we typically see more like community development infrastructure projects. Just we expanded a couple of the definitions. I don't know, are the CRP out, Ryan? I actually haven't seen the guidelines yet. But I know at our meeting the other month, we expanded some of the definitions to make it easier for people to apply. The other thing I would say, we had some questions last year about maybe some of the prioritization of the scoring and like some things that we feel like should have scored better than they did, maybe specifically around housing. And so that conversation came up during the board meeting last time. And one of the things I would really advocate for across the UP is it is an open scoring opportunity, meaning like members of the public and EDOs can help score applications. You can't score obviously ones that are in your own territory, but you can help score ones in other places. And so they will issue a call for people who are interested in participating in the joint review committee. And I would really encourage us to flood it with UP people. So
Yeah.
that we just have a heavy influence there. So something to think about. It's also really interesting actually to see what else other people put in there. And it helps us, I think, put in better applications in future years. So.
Great. Thank you for the insights on that. All right, training opportunities that are coming up. On October 8th at Escanaba Township, MSU Extension is hosting a short-term rental policy options for local communities. They're doing 3 of these across the UP. They're doing one in, I believe, Waters Meet, and another in the eastern UP. I'm not sure where. But they're all sometime this fall in October. I believe it's $30 to attend, and yeah, they have some great educators, so I'd highly recommend this training opportunity. There's another training opportunity that might be of interest, MSU Extension again, but with Michigan Treasury this time. It's on getting grant ready, and they have multiple opportunities for this one on October 20th and December 4th. It's a virtual training, so I'll get this slide out to everyone after the meeting, and the links are contained in it. As for events, Michigan Association of Planning's annual conference is on October 22nd through 24th. Michigan Land Bank Association's 2025 Leadership Summit is coming right up on October 6th through 8th, and it's right here in Marquette. And UP EDA meeting is on October 17th, also in Marquette. I believe it's at the Holiday Inn, and you can register for that at these links here. And then in other news, this land division bill is cruising right ahead. It's ready for the Senate final vote. It's looking like it's got a ton of support, and that's likely to happen. So if this passes, it's going to allow significantly more splits of land than has been previously allowed. So So think about that for your local communities. And that's all we got. Does anybody else have anything they'd like to share with the group?
Hey Ryan, sorry, I feel like I've just talked a whole lot today. I would maybe mention one other thing. I think some of you were signed up for the October 3rd Housing Now update events. We've opted to push into 2026 so that we can do a bigger like housing events, maybe in partnership with the regional housing partnership. So I'd love to talk about that. But Ryan Kilpatrick is still coming up to the Upper Peninsula. And if any of you have seen Ryan speak, he's a really engaging, super smart guy, especially around zoning and building codes and how that impacts the cost of housing and the ability to build housing. So he's going to come up and talk specifically about that. Thanks to the Regional Housing Partnership support, we're able to make that event still free for Ryan coming up and talking. So that'll still be October 3rd from 10:30 to 12, and then there'll be lunch after. So you should see it on our socials. But Ryan, I can give you the flyer if you can share it maybe with the group afterwards. We're asking for RSVPs just so we can plan for lunch accordingly. But we don't get folks of Ryan's caliber up here very often. So if you can make it to Marquette that day, I would really encourage you to do so.
Great, I'd be happy to share it. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks.
And I saw Lexi had her hand up.
Can you hear me? Okay. So I just wanted to back up a little bit too. I thought of one other potential project that I wanted to mention down in Menominee County. So I'm not sure if any of you are familiar with it, but the shipyard down here has been working with the U.S. Army Corps on a river dredging project to help open up some more contracting opportunities and hire a bunch more workers to start working on some of those federal contracts. And with that being said, the city of Menominee has some lots that are ready or would be really great for housing development that would likely need infrastructure to those lots. They're already in and around a residential subdivision, but they just need curb, gutter, sewer. I think still a wetland delineation needs to be done on them, but that's another potential project that we would hope to bring up as that influx of workers come in to work at the shipyard. Housing is more and more needed down here to help accommodate those kind of workforce level of folks. So I just wanted to put that on the radar, CEDS.
Great, thank you. Yes, very much needed. Okay, I think that does it. Yeah.
One more, I'll pile on here with you, Christopher. So this is a good order update, I guess. Some of you are familiar with the Rural Leadership Fellowship program that we have at Northern. Christopher serves on our advisory committee. Lexi is our, sorry Lexi, have to call you out. She's like our poster child of how this program can work. And even though she's not a child, she's a professional adult. Wrong choice of words, sorry Lexi.
Most people think that I'm like 16, so it's okay.
We have our third cohort, thanks to our wonderful partners at InvestUP and MBDC and many others that be here too long to name off. We are launching a third cohort and working on sustainability for this program long term, of course, which is tougher in this environment, but we will have a third cohort that will start in the winter semester or January and wrap up the end of fall semester next year. So it's a calendar year fellowship rather than an academic year fellowship like the last cohort we had. This cohort will have 2 fellows, and the way the program works, and the reason I wanted to mention it is we want communities that have great projects that can benefit from having a dedicated student fellow assist with capacity, kind of project management. Think about this as like a capstone, like a year-long capstone for a high-flying, highly capable student, graduate student or undergraduate, depending on the fit. The way it works is select the student fellows first. They apply, they share personal interest statements, they share letters of recommendation. So once the student fellows are selected, we do our best to then, through our advisory committee that Christopher serves on, we do our best to select projects that have been submitted through an RFP project to match that student's interest. And sometimes it's very clear how that alignment can work. You have a student interested in outdoor recreation, and there's a 5-year recreation plan, and like an outdoor recreation project right there that's in the pipeline that the advisory committee can validate as a good project. And then we match them up. There have been other instances where it's not as clear, so we give the student fellow that has been selected the ability to choose their project based on a nondescript outline of, kind of description of the projects. And I believe that's actually how Lexi ended up choosing her project in Manistee. But so if you have projects, think of them. We've been talking with some of you about projects that sound great. We want to get a good pool, especially to match student interest. And if you know students at Northern who might be a good candidate for this, encourage them to apply when the applications go live. That'll be probably in the next week or two. The student fellows, it's a competitive fellowship. They receive a full tuition and fee scholarship along with the cash stipend each semester. So it's a pretty good deal for a student that is especially interested in a career in public service, government, or economic development. So we want to recruit those students who are going to be at this table eventually, like Lexi is now.
Yeah.
So, which is really cool. So thanks for listening. I try to give that pitch anywhere I go with a group like y'all to try to make sure we can get a good pool of applicants on both the student side and the project side. So thank you.
Great.
It's a wonderful program. It's an amazing program. Dave, if any way we can support with the Orion initiatives going on outdoor recreation, anything that we're doing, we've had such amazing feedback from communities and from the program. So count me in. If you need anything, please keep me in the loop. And I would absolutely encourage everyone getting projects together and getting involved in this.
Thanks, Joe. All right. Does anyone else have anything?
One other, Dave reminded me of this. If folks who are in the Marquette area or outside of the Marquette area who work with Northern haven't seen, NMU has selected finalists for its new president. And so there are public dates for those visits, including public receptions. So if you're in the area, I would really encourage you to meet the 4 candidates. I sit on the advisory search committee, and we had a really impressive pool of candidates. So I'm feeling good about who the next leader might be. Got some good choices.
Fantastic. Thank you.
Yep.
Are there any last comments? All right. If there's not, I'm gonna say thank you all for coming today, and I hope we all have a great rest of your day here. So, bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thanks, Ryan. Take care.
Right. Yep.